Disney's latest series from a galaxy far, far away, Skeleton Crew, has already seen growth, according to Bergman. Think about this, guys. Here you go. Here's another bit of information I didn't even know we would get. Skeleton Crew is doing better. They're seeing growth compared to The Acolyte. Think about it. A show with 0 lightsabers, no Jedi, no Force, nothing. No Yoda, no Plagueis, nothing. Is already seeing growth compared to the shit stain that was The Acolyte.
Well. It looks like Star Wars theory was wrong about the Skeleton Crew. The Skeleton Crew has the worst Star Wars ratings on Disney+, lower than The Acolyte. The ratings for the first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew are in, revealing that they are worse than The Acolyte, worse than Andor, and seemingly the worst Star Wars ratings on Disney+.
Think about this, guys.
This does not come as a surprise to me. This shit should be obvious to all of you. No one is gonna want to watch a dumb show about a bunch of random kids set in Star Wars with nothing to do with actual Star Wars.
I really loved it.
And you'll hear the fence riders in the shill saying, oh, it's like Goonies, it's like E.T., it reminds me of what it's like to be a kid.
And me being the poster boy of that.
Like, nobody under the age of 30 is thinking that way. And this show might be for kids, but kids aren't watching this. They're not watching Star Wars. Why would they? They got better things to do. Skeleton Crew is also the first Star Wars show not to have its premiere make the Nielsen ratings, which are automatically turned on in your Disney Plus accounts. Samba TV has also again refused to publish numbers. Samba TV hasn't published ratings for a majority of recent Star Wars or Marvel shows. Likely at the request of Disney, who is an investor in the company, as obviously the ratings are in the gutter. Skeleton Crew premiered its first 2 episodes on the same night, yet still failed to appear in the Nielsen ratings, despite having an entire week to qualify. Nielsen released its ratings covering the premiere of the first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew. However, the show failed to make the list. The bottom spot belongs to the Great British Bake Off, with 382 million minutes viewed. Since Skeleton Crew didn't make the list, its total viewership was below 382 million minutes, meaning the average per episode was under 191 million minutes.
Think about this, guys.
The Acolyte also premiered its first 2 episodes in one night and made the Nielsen ratings with 488 million minutes viewed, averaging 244 million per episode. Andor premiered with its first 3 episodes and made the list with 624 million minutes, averaging 208 million per episode. Again, the 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew average lower than 191, falling short of both The Acolyte and Andor. So, what happened? Why didn't fans tune in to watch Skeleton Crew? It's from Spider-Man director John Watts, so you'd think it would at least be decent, right? Well, no, because he's a terrible director. And those Spider-Man movies feel like something you'd see on the CW. The answer seems clear. Fans just aren't interested. After Disney's handling of the Star Wars sequel trilogy and Disney Plus shows like The Acolyte, The Book of Boba Fett, and The Mandalorian Season 3, it seems many fans have simply stopped caring about Star Wars. I think what really happened is people stopped caring about Disney Star Wars. Now, a divided fan base isn't necessarily a bad thing. Some fans love it, others hate it, but even the haters will still watch. Well, obviously not. The real problem arises when fans stop caring. When that happens, they stop watching, and just as crucially, they stop spending their money. But obviously the Disney shills and the fence riders like Star Wars Theory and Echo Base Network, they're still gonna pay for Disney Plus. Fans are tired of the BS from actors, the studios, and the shows. Reports The Acolyte killed Star Wars seems true. No! The Acolyte alone didn't kill Star Wars. Everything else Disney has made has also been shit.
This was really an exceptional ending. And I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the film. I would even go as far as saying, I don't see episode 8 as being in the canon timeline. I see 7 and 9. And it was a beautiful ending to the sequel trilogy. And, so far as doing the entire saga, sure, it wrapped it nicely in the end. And it left me a really good feeling. I'm happy. I really loved it. And I shouldn't be made to feel like I can't say that I loved it.
That definitely had a hand in killing Star Wars, guys. Come on. A report has said due to the failure of The Acolyte that Disney is pulling back on Star Wars content on Disney Plus and only releasing one series a year going forward. Only Ahsoka Season 2 is in the works, but that too is now rumored to possibly end with its second season. Well, did anyone think it would get more than 2 seasons? If you fully expected that show to go on for multiple seasons beyond those 2, you're a fucking idiot.
And me being the poster boy of that.
Andor Season 2 premieres on April 22nd, 2025, and that will be its last. So following The Acolyte, it does seem as if Star Wars is dead on Disney+. Well, hold on a second, comic book news. Disney may be making a Knights of the Old Republic show next, ruining even more of the established canon. Disney Star Wars TV is drifting around rather nebulously at present, but it may take a big swing at something different if a new report is to be believed. Apparently, Lucasfilm's developing a show set during the Knights of the Old Republic era. This echoes something Kathleen Kennedy said back in 2019, acknowledging that something was happening with KOTOR, but we haven't had any real specifics since then. Now I guess we have. A report of a TV show at least. Yeah, and how many movies and shows have been announced and were never made? Disney Star Wars TV is in a weird place. To recap, The Mandalorian is apparently about to end with the first actual Star Wars movie since 2019's Rise of Skywalker. And if you're a sequel hater, prepare to have that movie tie directly into those sequel films. Ahsoka is getting a season 2, but it is likely a full 3 years after season 1. And no one's gonna give a fuck at that point. Andor is returning for season 2 this year, but that's a hard ending. There's nothing in the works regarding new episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi or the Book of Boba Fett. Thank God, because those shows fucking suck. The Acolyte was cancelled without getting a season 2. Who cares? The Skeleton Crew is still ongoing and has received a lot of praise, but viewership appears low and it still has a $136 million budget. It's unclear if it's performing well enough to return. Well, it's not gonna return. Are you fucking stupid? A Knights of the Old Republic show may be able to bridge a gap between A, Disney needing to get out of the Skywalker era more, and B, something that has more roots in Star Wars history and lore than the recently created High Republic, the setting of The Acolyte. No one is gonna watch this show because no one cares about Star Wars anymore. And when I say no one cares, I mean the general public. There are far better shows and movies being made outside of Disney and outside of Star Wars and Marvel. And the problems with The Acolyte have nothing to do with when it's set. When you say Knights of the Old Republic to a long-term Star Wars fan, or an OG Legends fan as Star Wars Theory would say, it's a series of video games that come to mind, KOTOR 1 and 2, and eventually the Old Republic MMO. The KOTOR games in particular are beloved by gamer fans. But there's nothing here that indicates this would be a direct adaptation of those. Yeah, no shit. They don't directly adapt anything from the actual canon of Star Wars. But they're absolutely gonna bring Revan in, and they're probably gonna cast some black woman to play him. A KOTOR series sounds better than most other ideas, I suppose. Then again, in terms of quality, the best Star Wars TV projects have been much more unexpected, like Andor and the Skeleton Crew. Alright. The best you could say about Andor is that the production design wasn't shit, and Skeleton Crew, who gives a fuck about that show at all? No one's watching it anyway. It's strange, you know, when I think, oh, Disney are making a KOTOR show, I think of how fun it would be to just cover it and completely shit on it because it's gonna suck, and all the shills and the fence riders are gonna eat it up and love it and say Star Wars is back because they're a bunch of fucking idiots. I hope Disney make this show. I hope they spend $300+ million on it. I just love watching Disney Lucasfilm fail. And they keep proving that they have no talent because they constantly plagiarize the expanded universe. And if this show does get made, you can thank Dave Filoni because he's the one making all these creative decisions.
Like, he's supposed to be this great guy, wiped out all these people. I don't know. She took that lightsaber and was like, I'm gonna take you out. And she did. And I'm all for it. And she looks strong.
So yeah, big, fat, fucking L for Skeleton Crew's viewership, and a big fat fucking L to Star Wars Theory for hyping it up. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. I'm getting the fuck out of here.